You're sitting at your kitchen table on a Sunday night, staring at your laptop. You got 3 tabs open, one calculator, one investment app, one budgeting article. You've been getting serious about money for 2 hours. You wrote down your income. You listed your expenses. You read about index funds and Roth IRAs and compound interest. And now you're just stuck, overwhelmed. You close the laptop and tell yourself you'll figure out next weekend. But you know you won't. Here's what nobody tells you. The reason building wealth feels impossible isn't because you don't understand investing. It's not because you're bad with money. It's not even because you don't make enough. It's because you're doing everything in the wrong order. Quick thing before we get into this. I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't personal financial advice. I'm just a guy who looks at how money really works in real life. If you're making big money moves, talk to a professional who knows your situation. Listen, I'm going to show you why most people spin their wheels for years making zero progress, and the exact order that actually builds wealth. Because here's the catch. The financial advice industry makes more money when you're confused, clicking around, trying to do everything at once. They want you researching stocks when you should be saving $500. They want you stressed about retirement accounts when you can't cover rent next month. A 2024 Federal Reserve study found that 37% of Americans couldn't cover a $400 emergency with cash. But the same study showed that people are opening investment accounts, buying crypto, signing up for apps. They're trying. They're just doing it in the wrong order, which means they're building a house starting with the roof. Let's name the villain, the everywhere at once trap. It's the idea that you need to do everything. Invest, save, pay debt, build credit, budget perfectly, all at the same time. That's the trap that keeps you broke while feeling busy. Here's what actually happens when you try to do everything at once. You read that you should invest early because compound interest is magic. True. So you open a Roth IRA and put in $100. Good start. But then your car breaks down. $800 repair. You don't have $800 in savings because you've been focused on investing, so it goes on your credit card at 24% interest. Now you're paying $16 a month in interest alone on that repair. Meanwhile, your $100 investment is maybe earning $10 in a year. You just paid more in interest than you earned investing. You lost. But here's the catch. You did everything the internet told you to do. You invested early. You started a retirement account. You were being responsible. But you were doing it in the wrong order, so the system ate you alive anyway. Or here's another version. You decide to crush your debt. You've got $8,000 on a credit card at 22% interest. You read about the debt snowball method. You get fired up. You throw every extra dollar at that card. You're paying $500 a month extra. You're making progress. But then your hours get cut at work. One bad month and you can't make rent. You've got no emergency savings because everything went to debt. So you pull out the credit card again. Now you're back where you started, plus you're exhausted and feel like a failure. But here's what messes people up. You did exactly what the personal finance gurus told you to do. Attack your debt aggressively. You were motivated. You were disciplined. But you were doing it in the wrong order, and life punched you in the face because you had no buffer. Let me say it plainly. There is a specific order to building wealth. Skip a step, and you'll get stuck. Do them out of order, and you will spin your wheels for years wondering why nothing's working. Here's the order that actually builds wealth. Not the order that sounds impressive. Not the order that gets clicks. The order that works in real life when your car breaks down and your hours get cut and your kid needs braces. Step 1. Save $500 to $1,000 as fast as you possibly can. I don't care how long it takes. 1 month, 6 months, doesn't matter. This money sits in a regular savings account and does absolutely nothing until something breaks or goes wrong. This is your oh crap fund, your shock absorber, your fire extinguisher. This is not your vacation fund. This is not your I really want new AirPods fund. This is your the world just tried to financially murder me and it failed fund. Here's why this comes first. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, banks collected over $5.8 billion in overdraft fees in 2023. That's billions of dollars extracted from people who were short by $20 or $50 or $100 at exactly the wrong time. Simple math. One overdraft fee is usually $35. If you get hit with just one overdraft every other month, that's 6 overdrafts a year. That's $210 a year you handed to the bank for being broke at the wrong time. But if you have $500 sitting in savings, that overdraft never happens. You just saved $210. That $500 didn't earn anything sitting there, but it saved you $210. That's a 42% return. Show me an investment that guarantees that. But here's the wild part. Most financial advice tells you to start investing immediately. Time in the market beats timing the market. Compound interest is your friend. Start your Roth IRA today. All true, but here's the catch. If you start investing before you have a basic buffer, the first time life happens, you're going to either go into debt to cover it, or you're going to cash out your investments at the worst possible time to cover it. Either way, you lose. Your brain wants to skip this step. It's boring. It doesn't feel like progress. Watching $500 sit in a savings account earning, basically nothing feels like you're wasting time while everyone else is getting rich off Tesla or Bitcoin or index funds. That's your brain protecting status and FOMO. You don't want to feel left behind. And the financial advice industry loves it because they make money when you're trading, clicking, buying, panicking, not when you're calmly sitting on a $500 buffer. Step 2, get your employer's retirement match if they offer it. If your job offers to match your retirement contributions, let's say they match 50 cents for every dollar you put in, up to 6% of your salary, you contribute enough to get that full match. That's it, not more, just a match. Here's why. If you make $40,000 a year and your employer matches 50% on up to 6%, that means if you put in $2,400 a year, they put in $1,200. That's an instant 50% return. You will never beat that anywhere else. Simple math. You put in $200 a month, they put in $100. That's $300 a month going into retirement. Over 30 years, at an average 10% return, that becomes about $678,000. If you skip the match and just invested your $200 yourself, it becomes about $452,000. You just left $226,000 on the table by skipping free money. But here's the catch. This only comes after step 1. Because if you don't have that $500 buffer, you're going to raid your retirement account the first time something goes wrong, and you're going to pay penalties and taxes to do it. I've seen it 100 times. Someone starts contributing to their 401k, feeling responsible and proud. 6 months later, their transmission dies. No emergency fund. They panic. They take a $3,000 loan from their 401k. Now they're paying themselves back with interest. Their retirement contributions pause, and they just destroyed 6 months of progress. Wrong order. Step 3, attack high interest debt. Anything above 10% interest needs to die. Credit cards at 22%? Gone. Payday loans? Absolutely gone. Store cards at 29%? Dead. Here's why this comes now and not first. You can't effectively attack debt if you have no buffer, because life will force you back into debt the moment something breaks. But now you've got your $500 to $1,000 cushion. Now when your tire blows out, you use the emergency fund and slowly rebuild it. You don't need the credit card. The debt stays dead. Simple math. Let's say you've got $5,000 on a credit card at 22% interest. If you only pay the minimum payment of about $150 a month, it'll take you 6 years to pay off, and you'll pay about $5,800 in interest. Almost double what you borrowed. But if you throw $400 a month at it, you're done in 15 months, and you pay only about $1,100 in interest. You just save $4,700 and 5 years of your life. But here's the catch. You can only sustain that $400 a month attack if you're not getting knocked back into debt every time something goes wrong. That's why the buffer comes first. Now watch what happens next. Some of you are thinking, but Mike, shouldn't I invest while I'm paying off debt? Isn't that leaving money on the table? Here's why that's wrong. If you're carrying a credit card balance at 22% interest, you are paying 22% for the privilege of owing that money. If you invest in the stock market and it returns 10% on average, you're earning 10% while paying 22%. You're losing 12% on that deal. Paying off 22% debt is the same as earning a guaranteed 22% return on an investment. Show me where else you're getting that. Step 4. Build your real emergency fund. You've got your starter buffer. You got your employer match. You killed your high-interest debt. Now you build the real shock absorber. 3 to 6 months of expenses. This is where most people mess up because it feels like a lot. If your expenses are $3,000 a month, 3 months is $9,000. That feels massive and impossible. But here's the catch. You're not building it tomorrow. You're building it over time, and you already prove you can do it because you save your first $500 to $1,000. Let's say you can put $300 a month toward this. In 1 year, you've got $3,600 saved. In 2 years, you've got $7,200. In 3 years, you got $10,800. You just built a 3-month emergency fund making $3,000 a month, and you did it without heroics or living on rice and beans. Just $300 a month. But here's the part that makes me mad. Most advice tells you to invest first and build the emergency fund slowly or never. That advice is designed for people who already have money. For regular people, the emergency fund is what keeps you out of debt hell. It's what lets you survive a job loss without destroying your life. It's what lets you say no to terrible financial decisions when you're desperate. According to a 2023 Bankrate survey, only 44% of Americans could cover a $1,000 emergency with savings. That means 56% would borrow, sell something, or just not handle it. That's not because people are irresponsible. That's because they were told to invest first, save later, and they got the order wrong. Step 5. Now you invest for real. You've got your buffer. You got the employer match. You killed high-interest debt. You built your real emergency fund. Only now do you go hard on investing. Max out your Roth IRA. That's $7,000 a year. Invest in simple, boring, low-cost index funds. Set it and forget it. Then increase your 401k contributions beyond just a match. Then open a regular investment account and keep going. This is where wealth actually gets built. But here's the catch. Most people try to start here. They skip steps 1 through 4 and jump straight to investing because that's what feels like building wealth. And then life happens, and they're forced to cash out investments at a loss to cover emergencies, or they go into debt, or they stop contributing because they can't afford it anymore. They were building the roof before the foundation. Simple math. Let's say you're 30 years old, and you start maxing your Roth IRA at $7,000 a year. Over 30 years, at an average 10% return, that becomes about $1,220,000 just from the Roth. Add in your 401k contributions beyond the match, and you're looking at serious wealth. But if you try to do this while juggling credit card debt and having no emergency fund, you'll stop and start and cash out and panic so many times that you'll never actually build anything. Here's what all of this comes down to. The order matters more than the effort. You can work incredibly hard, be incredibly disciplined, read every book, watch every video. But if you're doing in the wrong order, you will stay broke. The everywhere at once trap works because it makes you feel productive while keeping you stuck. You're doing something with your money, so you feel responsible. But you're scattered across 10 priorities with no foundation. So the first problem that hits knocks everything over. The real order is boring. It's not sexy. It doesn't make for good Instagram posts, but it works. Save a small buffer first. Get free money from your employer. Kill the expensive debt. Build a real emergency fund. Then invest hard. In that order. Every single time. If you've been spinning your wheels for years, if you've been trying everything and getting nowhere, if you've been blaming yourself for not making progress, listen to me. You're not broken. You just had the order wrong. The system is designed to keep you confused about the order because confusion keeps you clicking, trading, paying fees, taking out loans, and staying stuck. Your future self is looking back at this moment right now. The difference between 45-year-old you with $800,000 in retirement accounts and 45-year-old you with nothing is intelligence or luck. It's whether you did the boring steps in the right boring order. Here's what I want you to do. In the comments, just write which step you're on right now. Are you building your starter buffer? Attacking debt? Building your real emergency fund? Investing? Just comment the step number. I want to see where everyone's at. And if this video just saved you from years of spinning your wheels, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Now go build in the right order.